And we are live, top of the world to you, top news stories of the day. If you're watching live or you're watching on demand, you share the link or you stink. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. Do what the screen tells you. Fire off those lasers, Jose. Fire them off. We don't need a permit for it. What's up, everybody? It is a big, big day. Let's get into it. Daniel Bryan, the most cherished wrestler of a generation. What is his future? Because apparently his contract has ran up with the WWE. He was sent out in style on SmackDown, put down by the head of the table. What do you think his future is? AEW Blood and Guts is tonight. You may be watching it on demand within the next 24 hours. Are you pumped? Do you think it will live up to the hype? If you're watching this after, did it live up to the hype? And AEW president Tony Khan thinks it's gonna surpass the expectations and comparisons to the other wrestling company that they're constantly compared to. It is your top wrestling stories of the day. I am Kellam. That is Jose G. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. All right. If you're on YouTube, wonderful. We're growing leaps and bounds. We have a ton of content, hours of on-demand content every single week. Live streams after Monday Night Raw with Vince Russo. He had some testy things to say this week in this week's episode. You should definitely go check it out.
Sure
we have the debrief tonight coming up right after Blood and Guts.
Tonight.
If you're an NXT person, don't worry. They'll cover NXT as well.
We're going to cover everything. Huge NXT night last night. We're going to talk all about it tonight at 10:05 p.m. here on Sportskeeda Wrestling.
Yeah, so if you're joining us Eastern time, it's all going to be there. I know we have our friends in India. We are thinking of you guys. We are definitely thinking of you guys. This is a really challenging time. So if anyone around there is dealing with some stuff, you come to our shows, you chalk it up to wrestling. We appreciate it. We got a lot to cover here today. We're with you for a little bit, but we're here with a big conversation. You know, some people shocked. Big news here. Daniel Bryan out of the picture in WWE, at least for the time being. And people want to know what's up with Daniel Bryan. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people were just saying that his contract was up in September with WWE. And here they have you have the summer to maybe reel this guy in or have him do some cool stuff on the way out. But the way out was already done. It was Roman Reigns beating him into a pulp and him having a valiant performance for over 40 minutes on network television in probably one of the best WWE matches of the year. I would say nearly as good as the WrestleMania main event. That's just me.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a match of the year candidate right there.
Mm-hmm. So he's out of the picture. What's going on? What's next? Everyone thinks he's going somewhere else.
Yeah, no. So there's been tons of speculation. You know, you mentioned it earlier that, that his contract was going to be expiring in September. But according to Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select, his contract has either been expired or was set to expire sometime last week, or maybe even that Friday where SmackDown took place for the Universal Championship. And there's been several talents that have confirmed to Sapp that they're heard of the deal expiring. Daniel Bryan has even been taken off of the main roster and put into the alumni section in WWE.com. So this is a huge deal. This is a huge deal because what's going to happen to Daniel Bryan? Is he going to go part-time? Is he going to have that Brock Lesnar schedule? Is he going to have that Goldberg schedule, twice a year? Is he going to go to a different promotion? Is he going to go to Japan? Sound off in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. But huge news breaking last night. Kev, what's your take on this? I know you're a huge D. Bryan guy.
I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan, so I try to be subjective about this because I do have to have a sense of balance of where I am and where wrestling is and what's real. And so I always get crap from people saying I'm a WWE apologist and like, look, you couldn't keep Daniel Bryan. Look, he's leaving. But look at if he goes somewhere else, and we'll talk about where he could go. Let's talk about this ending. If this is the way you wrote him off, what a great way to write off a character. He didn't get jobbed out. He got choked out. It's open-ended. Daniel Bryan coming back to kick Roman Reigns' ass would be something you could do if you want to do it. Daniel Bryan going somewhere else, refining himself, if you want to say so, on an NXT or a Monday Night Raw and doing some new things, that's still possible. That's not unlikely. This is the WWE. They have a ton of money. They have a ton of resources. They also have a ton of depth that if they brought Daniel Bryan in, they could go to him and say, yeah, if you want that schedule, we'll give it to you. But what else is involved? Is it a money thing? Something makes me think that Daniel Bryan is already a successful guy, is already a part of a successful household, and has done a lot of wonderful things. He wants to be a part of wrestling. He wants to do some exceptional things. He's a creatively driven guy. Nick Batson saying Daniel Bryan will be back. A lot of people think he'll be back in WWE, but he was public about it. I want to wrestle in some other promotions. Here's some great guys. I would love to wrestle Will Ospreay. I would love to wrestle this person who's critically acclaimed in another company. And some of those people he has wrestled in the past. He wants to do some different things, but obviously this is a different WWE. They're not, you're not like an Evolve NXT guy where they come in and you don't have like a locked in deal. This is one of the top 5, top 10 wrestlers in the world. And they're going to want him for a significant period of time. Also somebody who was a creative consultant for the company in the last year and a half.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the fact of the matter is that now us fans can really dream on what matchups we could possibly see, because he has been very vocal of what he wants to do outside of WWE. So this can lead up to Kenny Omega versus Daniel Bryan. Could that happen? Can we see Jay White versus Daniel Bryan at New Japan? Can we see, just so many matchups that we can see? Nick Aldis versus Daniel Bryan. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And great comment here by James Espanto. He says, I think Daniel Bryan will have a backstage job, but the market in me wants to see him in ROH or New Japan. Bryan versus Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. Anyone? Sign me up, Kev.
You want to sell some pay-per-views to the United States audience. You want to get a bunch of hardcore 30, 40 something, 20 something mark dudes who've watched Daniel Bryan be the best wrestler of the world the last 10, 20 years. Be one of those guys that delivers the 5-star classics. Daniel Bryan is in that league. He's in that realm of names. And he's a rare character. He's a 2-aisle wrestler. I've heard this term before. You're in a certain lane. You're the guy that's appealing to the mainstream audience, like a Roman Reigns, a John Cena, who can still obviously have great matches and play great characters, but you're more of a superstar, a sports entertainer. And I'm not saying those things is a bad term. There's plenty of people that have done those that you guys all universally love. But he's also a guy who understands the bell to bell. The wrestling always came first. The action came first. That's the canvas he really cared about painting on. And I something makes me think that we could see him do some things in some other promotions. But to say he's done wrestling in WWE, to say that's a lock is I think way too much. But think about this. Daniel Bryan is a free agent, reportedly. We know for a fact Samoa Joe is a free agent. The Iconics are available. There are a lot of big names that are out there that are free agents. And this is the rumblings we're hearing. Contract season in WWE and AEW could get quite interesting in the next year.
I just want to sink my teeth into that, Kev.
More comments coming in here. People feeling Bryan on NWA Power. I mean, NWA Power is now on Fight TV. You got to pay a subscription fee for it. If Daniel Bryan wanted to get wild, obviously everyone thinks AEW. The big money's there. Let's get hypothetical. He's going somewhere, right? He's going to go. Tony Khan's going to back up the Brink truck, and we're going to get him down to Jacksonville. Like I've said with so many people, where do you plug him in, and who gets plugged out? Because the plug's going to get pulled on somebody. So for everyone who's a diehard, who's like, he's got to go down, he's got to go to AEW just to stick it to Vince. The guy just main evented WrestleMania and probably got a lot of money to do it. He got to be a creative consultant, which very few people in WWE get to do while performing. Very few. That list is like 4 or 5 guys, and he was one of those guys. So that's a lot of trust, okay? A lot of trust. And he made it clear, I'm just at a different point in my life. You didn't get a sense of him leaving like, I hate this or something. It's like, I'm just different. It's just, I'm a different, I got children. My body's in a certain way. I already got through these other injuries that I wasn't supposed to get through. So what's to say we even see him show up in 2021? Maybe he's done wrestling. Who knows? I think he wrestles again, but I'm not saying that we're going to turn on blood and guts tonight and expect to see Daniel Bryan walk out.
Oh no, I don't think so. But you make a good point. And also in one of his most recent interviews where, he was addressing where during his WrestleMania main event match, he felt detached from the match itself. Like he said that wrestling brings him joy And for some reason, during that moment in the main event, he said he didn't feel it. He felt detached from the main event.
The biggest platform you can be in wrestling. The biggest platform. Like the biggest match that anyone can want to be in. He was in it. And
very telling.
Like, and this isn't the same thing. This doesn't feel the same.
Yeah. No. And I don't think necessarily that he fell out of love with wrestling. It's just like you said, he's just at a different point of his life. He wants to dedicate his time to his kids, to his family. And there's nothing wrong with that. If he comes, 4 times a year, I'm okay with that. And
then you work as a creative consultant. You don't have to go in there and bump. You're still creatively, you're getting a fulfillment production wise. You don't have to be on the road. WWE is going to be back on the road. So I think that's another thing that makes the guy think this, like, I'm not going to be traveling the same way. Also maybe some people don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like they've enjoyed the last year and a half of I go in, I do my matches, I leave. I don't have to be on the road 4 or 5 days. I'm on the road for 3 days and I come back in a week and a half or something like that. Like that. But that's people say, oh, that's the appeal of AEW. They're going on the road again. They're going to go on the road and they're going to do the weekly Dynamites and pay-per-views. Is it the same as the WWE schedule? Yeah. But I also don't think the WWE schedule is going to be what it was before. I don't think we're going back to house shows right away. I think we're getting TVs and pay-per-views, maybe a handful of marketing events for select people, but I don't think that whole crew is going to be out there the same way. I do think he does some things out of WWE. I just don't think it's a given that it's all Elite Wrestling. I just don't think it's a given.
Yeah. Like
it could happen, but I don't think it's a given.
Exactly. I don't think it just because that that's the next big player. Who's like, oh, AEW, we got Impact, we got New Japan.
Tommy B says, this is right. I know. Sportskeeda.
Maybe we can make that happen. Daniel Bryan, hey, you want to be a co-host here on Sportskeeda Wrestling with Kevin Kellam and Jose G?
See, Sportskeeda, they lured me over. They got me over. They waved the sweet fruit, the sweet wine, and I came and I took a sip, right? But Tommy B says, how it's going to cost us a lot of money, dude. We're gonna have to get a bigger Thunder Zone. We're gonna have a bigger budget. This is ridiculous stuff here. More comments here. Want to try and get you guys involved in the show. Rich says, well, I'm an entrepreneur working under binary options, trading options, full time. Okay, you have silly things here. I'm reading the wrong thing here. Sorry about that. Here we go. Rory Toe says Daniel should stay out of wrestling for a few months. The surprise everyone July or August. Well, that's another thing. I don't think there's a rush to get him back in. The guy got hit over the head with a chair. He got a concerto and lost a big match for Roman Reigns. This isn't someone who's popping up right away. Don't think so.
Not yet. No, not yet. No, he may do some media scums here and there, but I don't think he's going to be like.
We're the media scum. We're the people talking about it. Once again,
the scrums, not the scums.
Getting in this, we're going a little long today, guys. All right, I don't mind it. Here we go. James Espanto Fernando texting in once again. He says, if Daniel Bryan goes to other promotions this year, we could call it the return of the Dragon. Could we get the Dragon back? We also have people bringing up him in Ring of Honor would be a huge deal. This one is great. Kevin Fraggle, Kevin, what's up, Kev? He goes, what about him going to MLW? If WWE is talking to them, that would make sense. Yes, there's been some talk of WWE trying to set up a talent exchange, similar to what they were doing with Evolve, and eventually they bought Evolve. That WWE would be able to send talent from the NXT, maybe even lower ranks at Raw or SmackDown, but mostly what we've heard is from NXT that aren't being used on television there on USA Network every Tuesday night to get them on MLW, which is going to be on Vice on Saturdays. They've put out some new shows. The shows they have right now on MLW Vice are just they're just like kind of clip shows catching people up, and then they do first run, they call it the new phase of MLW starting in July. So, and they've teased a big announcement. Could that announcement be Daniel Bryan? You want to talk about putting something on the map, Daniel Bryan.
Maybe he'll be like an authority figure or something.
Yeah. Normally we try to keep episodes 15 minutes, but God, you guys want to talk about this Daniel Bryan story, and I don't blame you. We do want to talk to you about this, though. If you've watched this long and you're with us, you got to subscribe to the channel, and we're going to pay it off to you. All right? Our friends at PCW, they have PCWOndemand.pivotshare.com. That's PCWOndemand.pivotshare.com. Only $6 a month to subscribe, but you could get it for 3 months for free. 3 months for 3. All right. Great value. A lot of great matches. AJ Styles, Jushin Thunder Liger, Adam Cole, promotions from all around the world, not just PCW. I mean, we're talking stuff from all around the world. You could have it at your fingertips. You could just reach out and grab it. You know, we're talking rare stuff, Southern States wrestling. You want that? They got it. All right. The Boogie Woogie Man yelling. You want the weird stuff. You want the 5-star matches. They got them. So here's how you do it. You send the love back to Sportskeeda Wrestling, right, Jose? You send it back to us. They got to subscribe to our YouTube, and we'll know if you don't. You have to comment on this video, and you have to share this video. So definitely comment so we can pluck those random people and get those out. We're going to be giving these away the rest of the week. But once again, that's pcwondemand.pivotshare.com, pcwondemand.pivotshare.com. If you want that link, I'll drop it for you guys in the chat. What's our next topic before we round out today?
So before we head out, tonight is Blood and Guts. And speaking of AEW President Tony Khan kind of fires shots at WWE during a recent interview with Entrepreneur.com, saying that, dude, this was like a low blow for me when he said this. I was like, ooh. He's like, one part of the quote says, you know, not doing the same 17 weeks in a row over and over again, referring to the false finishes, the continued DQs. And I'm reading the statement and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you guys do quite a few no DQ or, you know, funky finishes. And I know WWE's been really bad about it, but for him to kind of be like, oh, we don't do that. We pay attention to what our fans are telling us. I don't know. I was just shaking my head.
And the timing, like one of those is interesting. Like, obviously, they're gonna present this match tonight that I think everyone's gonna be talking about. By the time you guys have seen it, it runs an hour on network television. It will be a pay-per-view match. It'll be War Games. Tony Khan was on SiriusXM, busted open today, saying the show's gonna be an hour. He couldn't even call it War Games, but the way he presented it, you guys could call it War Games, and one of the hosts like alluded towards that, and they just avoided saying that. So I don't know, man. It's very, very interesting that Tony would now do that. There's been a couple times when he's taking the gloves off and he's kind of sent shots their way, but so is WWE. I mean, you had Triple H at the Hall of Fame calling him like a pissant company, and people have asked him about the move from Wednesday nights and stuff like that. But I'll give it to AEW. They didn't, thump their chest too hard when NXT went to Tuesdays. They didn't go out and say like, look what we did. We ran them off. That was really fans online who want to troll and stuff like that. And
well, Chris Jericho did. Of course, Jericho did. Of course Jericho did. But Jericho is just the guy who does that all the time. Exactly. We know that going in.
It's a write-off. And also, Jericho was on. More people saw Jericho on Stone Cold Steve Austin's interview show this year than saw him in AEW. Now, mind you, a lot of people saw him in AEW. A lot of people watched him. I'm not taking anything away from him. But that was a huge platform. That was the night after the second night of WrestleMania. A lot of people were talking about him. And mind you, he gets them trending all the time. And who knows how many people are going to see him tonight. But I get it. You guys are you have to do that because your fans want to see you talk some shiz, man. They want to see it. So other people signing off. Rory thinking tonight Tyson or Jericho make a huge impact on tonight's Blood and Guts. I see Tyson knocking out Y2J. That's right. We have Mike Tyson on this show tonight. That's going to be nuts.
It's going to be It's going to be a pretty good show, I'm anticipating. But before we sign off, Kevin, quick pick. Who's your prediction? The Pinnacle or the Inner Circle with the W tonight?
I wonder how many people are going to use this clip against us after tonight if they watch it. But something makes me think the Pinnacle needs this more. It's a youth movement with that team, even though you have some more veteran guys in it. MJF having that moment and standing over Chris Jericho in this circumstance, it's going to be an Empire Strikes Back scenario. The bad guys win only for the heroes to come back another day. And maybe this gives a little bit more of an outdoor window for Chris Jericho to go away for a while and play some rock and roll.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. But the fan in me wants Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle to demolish the fake version of the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. I love how much I hate MJF. And that's just a reason. that
He's
I
a
want.
heel. Do you know you're supposed to not like heels? We forgot about that in wrestling.
Exactly. But he makes me genuinely hate him. So the fact of having Jericho just beat the living crap out of him, along with Mike Tyson, is just gonna. I would love just to see MJF's face just. So yeah, man, I got Inner Circle tonight.
Oh no, we're gonna get some weaseling. We're gonna get some weaseling MJF.
There's gonna be tons of shenanigans.
The shenanigans. The place we get chicken wings over by the mall that has crazy crap on the wall. Shenanigans.
Tons of them.
That's a deep Super Troopers reference. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and like this video, subscribe on YouTube, and comment. Only on YouTube. For our Facebook friends, go subscribe on YouTube. It's pretty simple. Sportskeeda Wrestling. You guys can watch us on your TV then if you actually wanted to do that. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Tomorrow, we just announced it. It's happening. It's official. Drew McIntyre will be our premiere episode.
We're announcing it. Nice.
It is official. Drew McIntyre, the man who's at the top of the wrestling world, the man who could once again become the WWE champion, is talking about his brand new book, My Chosen Destiny, which is out now. In this interview, he talks about a dream match that Europe will want to see. The UK will stop to watch this fight that he pitches. Also, does he insert himself into Rocky 3 with Thunder Lips, Hulk Hogan, and Sylvester Stallone? Yeah, we're going there. It's tomorrow on our premiere episode of our podcast. We're doing a podcast as well called The Inside Cradle with me and Rick Uccino. We will have that streaming at some point in the afternoon. I don't know the exact time, so make sure your notifications are on for that, and you can catch an interview with Drew McIntyre. Also, we'll have that podcast link up for you guys to subscribe on Apple, all those different things. By the way, get the app if you haven't done it, the Sportskeeda app, available on Apple devices and Google devices. Oh, man. So pumped. Blood and guts. We got great wrestling. Hopefully we have Daniel Bryan wrestling again. I don't know how I'll deal with myself, but I'll have to deal with it because he's a full-time dad. He's not a full-time wrestler. He said that a couple of times, and I have to deal with that.
Don't cry, Kev. Don't cry. Don't.
Yes.
Get that tear back in. Put that tear back in, Kevin.
Get in there.
Go back in. Guys, also don't forget tonight at 10:05 p.m. here on Sportskeeda Wrestling. We got the debrief. Rico El Glorioso and myself will be breaking down AEW Dynamite's Blood and Guts and last night's NXT. We got new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
We do.
And the NXT title right now is looking insane. We're going to have all of it tonight here on 10 p.m. here on Sportskeeda Wrestling. So for myself, and Kev Kellam, remind them what's the best thing that they can do when they're watching wrestling.
Well, Nick just said in the comment, I believe you're supposed to enjoy